Hello, everyone. Welcome to the ForceManager 5500 webinar. Thank you all for joining us today. I am Maria, your host for today, and I'm part of the ForceManager team, and I'm joined by three other panelists, Richie from 401k Help Desk, Luke from ForceManager, and James Noel, Financial Rep from Northwestern Mutual. So everyone is on mute this morning, so feel free to use the chat box for any questions you might have, and we'll be answering them at the end of the session. So without further ado, let's begin. I'd like to call on Richie to give us a brief introduction to the founding story of the platform. The stage is yours.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Maria. So Luke and the team wanted me to share a little bit of the origin story, and I love that message where you look back and you see how did this all get started. And so my background is 25 years in the retirement plan industry, and I started years ago as a wholesaler calling on advisors. And as we all know, there's a spectrum of advisors out there. We have advisors that drill down and do wealth management, financial planning, and sometimes they like to be holistic and provide the retirement plan services to their clients. And then as the industry has evolved over the years, you have those that specialize in retirement plans. And now fast forward 25 years to today, you have a whole industry out there that's focused on those specialists who really drill down with the employer, help them with ERISA, with their all their plan sponsor fiduciary duties, quarterbacking the record keepers, the funds, and also the administration. And so that's the world that I live in. We, halfway through my career, I was helping a TPA regionally do outbound marketing to advisors, and we were redoing our distribution and marketing technology. We were looking at a CRM, and in looking at the CRM, one of my advisors brought to me this amazing tool that now with technology today, you have mobile functionality that's just out of this world. And they said, you need to look at this tool. We implemented the tool internally. And for me in the field, my background has always been outbound in the field, meeting with advisors and helping them grow their business. Looking at this tool from a technology standpoint, from an efficiency standpoint, our practice was able to take our list and really grow the contact, the follow-up, and automate a lot of our procedures. For example, if I'm in Miami, I finish up a meeting, I could see on the map around me all the advisors categorized in color. So here's somebody who's a member of NAPA or who works with RPAG or who is on the Brightscope list, and I can reach out and say, hey, Mike, hey, Sally, I'm in the region. I have an extra hour before my next appointment. We'd love to sit down and tell you a little bit more about what's going on, with the CARES Act. And we would really grow our functionality in the field. And then with the application on my mobile phone, on my tablet, and on my desktop, we could really follow up on the advisors and what we're doing to grow their practices. We looked at this tool and said, what if you could take this information that we have? What if you could take 5,500 data, marry it with the tool, and create a weapon for advisors to do outbound marketing and see the plan sponsors on a map around them, and they could automate their cadence of marketing. They could actually really grow their pipeline in an intentional way. And that's what I think is the tool, the backbone of the tool is being intentional on your marketing and really having a work belt, some kind of a utility belt that you have with all the tools and mechanisms. One of my advisors said, Lou, your tool combines 5 different technologies that I use separately on my phone. And so what I don't want to do is steal some of Luke's thunder, but Luke is kind of our ninja on how the product works. We spent about 1.5 years developing this technology where we have one of the most state-of-the-art CRMs. And we don't want to just call it a CRM because the Apple developers worked with us to make sure that this tool is very savvy in the digital world, in the mobile environment. And now everybody that's using, you've got Zoom calls, you've got Microsoft Teams, you've got all kinds of functionality there. It's not just a CRM anymore. And it's not just a 5,500 database. So we've partnered with Erisapedia so that you have all those fiduciary reports and benchmarking tools and the most current data all in one, kind of a one-stop shop. And so with that, Luke is going to help showcase the tool today. And we not only consider this practice management, but also building your pipeline. And so it helps you automate your practice, but it also builds your pipeline so that you're more intentional about growing and you're following up in a much quicker manner with your prospects out in the field. We were on a call a while back, and James Noel was actually on the call, and he presented a new tool, and I was flabbergasted. This was a national record keeper call. I had no idea he was going to be on the call, and he mentioned a new tool that he had found that's growing and innovating his practice. And I thought, wow, what a great use case. And so he's joining us today. And I'll let Luke kind of go through the rest of the details, and we'll have James kind of share from a practice management standpoint what he's seen the tool do for his practice and helping him grow his pipeline.
Fantastic. So thank you for that great introduction, Lou. Let me kick off. So I've now got my my iPad screen up here. So very briefly, my name is Luke White, and I am Director of Sales and Onboarding here at ForceManager and ForceManager 5500. So as we talked about, ForceManager itself has been in the marketplace now for over 10 years in the CRM space. And as Lou touched upon, the last sort of 18 months we've been working and developing and launching this customized version of ForceManager with Lou and also with our fantastic data partners over at Arisapedia. So today I'm on my iPad, but multi-platform iPad, iPhone, Android device, and obviously on your laptop or PC as well. Starting on my iPad, it's a nice big screen, so it's nice and easy to demonstrate with you here today. We've actually been Apple partners since 2016, so any Apple users out there, like myself, it's very Apple native, so co-designed with the guys directly at Apple down in Cupertino in Silicon Valley. So it's got a great Apple look and feel to it from the Apple side, but don't worry, Android users out there, the application is exactly the same on Android, just a slightly different look and feel, but exactly the same as we go through. So I always love to start here on the map function. It's a great visual to kick everything off. When you go on and purchase ForceManager, one of the first options you get is what states would you like the data for? So you can select up to 3 states. This environment, I am an advisor based in Illinois, so I see all the data here for Illinois. So what do I see from the map view? The numbers we see here are showing all the plans in that area. So that's 62, sort of donut up in the sort of upper left side there. There are 62 plans in that area. The color coding we see, it's referencing the segmentation towards the left. So the yellow blocks are over 50 in total, 50 million and over in total assets. Turquoise, 25 to 50 and etc. Now, the beauty of the map is, as I zoom in, these become breakdown and we get granular and granular as we go deeper in and closer in to that particular map in here as well. Until the point we see these individual flag markers. So now this red, the blue, the yellow, these are individual plans in the area. Top 3 use cases from the map functionality is great. I can see what prospects are in and around, the neighborhood, the home office, etc. That law office that, I walk past, every day. They've got a 401k plan in place, or maybe there's a business in the office block I work in. Hey, I didn't realize they had a plan as well. So it can be used for a marketing strategy for, hey, local 401k advisor, always like to work with the sort of the businesses and business owners in the locality. Other advisors also have obviously highlighted where their clients are in a particular area, then use that as a central marketing point to then market to that locality as well. And then top 3, finishing off the top 3, is just being able to see the plans that are there instantly. So I can be in the town, in a city somewhere, and be able to quickly see what plans are in and around me. That maybe I can just drop a business card off. Hey, I've got half an hour before a meeting. I can just throw in a business card, make an introduction. That could potentially be a start of a fantastic relationship with that plan sponsor. So I like to split this into two ways. Data, so what data do you see and get from ForceManager? Then also then the sort of the execution, so what I can do, the features, perhaps more CRM functionality, but touch point tracking, activity tracking, and obviously building your pipeline as well. So we start with the data. If I click on one of these plans in here, I can jump straight into it, and I now see the record for CDK Global here. So I can see their phone number, their address, and as I scroll down, I start to now see all of the 5500 data. So all of you here will probably be very familiar with this data. We've just broken this down into a number of different sections just to make it easy to digest. So sponsor info here, the industry, the admin contact, the person who signed the form. We then go into the plan information. So total participants, the type of plan, total assets, etc. So those key fundamentals. Then we go into the features that are active on the plan. So here we can see 404C plan, participant directed, etc. Then we drop into the potential plan issue. So this is a great section, and it can be utilized very strongly for building those prospect lists and those targets that I want to go after. So here, any potential red flags, any issues that are on the plan. For example, in this one, we can see there's a potential issue here with the QDIA. So that could be, a reason for reaching out and speaking to that plan sponsor to explain that. And then go through how you can help them rectify that and why that's important. And then penultimately, we go down through into the financials, so the key financial figures in here, average account balance, participation rate, etc. Participants with an account balance as well. So all great data points that you can use to build those lists of prospects that you wish to go over and target. Also, what we've done is we have collated all of the schedule information as well. So on the provider that they've completed the full 5500 form, in here as well, we've now collected all that information. So typically advisor compensation, anybody else receiving revenue, and here, and in this example, we also see a breakdown of the fund assets in there as well. So again, a great summary of that, not having to scroll through all of the pages on the 5500. So I can come back out of that, maybe that plan's not for me for whatever reason. I can effortlessly jump in to the next plan in there and take a look at their data as well. We do actually have two versions of our platform, and the only difference between them is the premium version comes with the inbuilt integrated Aristopedia reports in here. So tends to be free key reports in here. So these are accessible directly from the mobile device. And again, the only difference between our essential and premium version is the access to these reports. So we have a copy of the actual 5500. So I can go through and take a look at that, for example, as I need to. Then every plan will have this plan report in here. Now, you'd be familiar with a Judy Diamond, a Larkspur, etc. in there. So again, a summary of the plan, but coming directly to us from Aristopedia. So again, we can go through this. We can see some key information through it. So again, some data we've seen in ForceManager, but then we get some graphical information coming through as well, where we start to look at sort of total assets maybe that are appearing in there as well. So we can see the growth decline of those total assets over the course of it as well. Beauty is I can actually share this report straight from ForceManager straight to the plan sponsor as well. So having that intel, that insight on the plan, that deep dive on the application for you to pull up at any time as well. From if you're planning in the home office, strategizing, to wanting to happen to be walking past the plan and just want to have a quick look at what's happening on it. And then for me, my favorite report from Aristopedia, the benchmarking report here. So again, this is for DC 401k plans, and it's a real true benchmarking report. It's not some arbitrary scoring. It's based off of a peer group. So here we can see this peer group is in manufacturing, a peer group size of between 101 and 500 participants, and that actually means there are 10,200 plans in that peer group. So then how is this how is this particular plan performing in this peer group? And again, we get all this fantastic insight. And also the Aristopedia report will then rank them based off of different aspects of the plan as well. So as we go down through here, we can see, overall operational benchmark scoring, and then we get to see it down at a further level as well. So investment review, how is it performing on that particular aspect of the plan, going down through as well to the administrative expenses and so on as well. So a full raft of analysis and insight at this level as well. And we can have another call, or any questions that any of you have on these particular reports, we can always arrange a call, one-to-ones and discuss this through with Aristopedia themselves in there as well. So that's sort of the data that's in there. So that's sort of like the 5500 data source sort of ticked off the list. So we've got that, but it's more than that. It's not just a data resource, as my wonderful partner Lou also mentioned at the start. It's that CRM and prospecting tool as well. So we've been in this map view since the beginning. That's where we've been to start with. I can toggle off of this into a list view as well. Now, the only difference at this point, apart from it not being a map, is that we are viewing the plans that are closest to my location. So obviously the application knows where I am, and it shows me the contextual information about what's around me. So always going to show the ones that are closest to my vicinity. Now, I want to be able to filter and search data quick and easily as well. So we can do that through the mobile application. This funnel feature at the top right corner here, I can now go through and I can start to filter and manipulate the data to hone me into a particular criteria of prospects that I may want to go and target. So maybe it's by a specific zip code, or maybe it's by a particular segmentation. So, hey, I want to look at plans in that 5 to 25 million range. I can then add in another data filter. So we've got all those data points we saw from the 5500 are now searchable and able for us to build that list. So we could go through industry, maybe we could go through and take a look at any plans that maybe have that QDIA issue. I can quickly search for that. Then I'm going to see just those plans that have that particular issue with that QDIA and that are between 5 and 25 million as well. So I can start to really hone in and break down this by multiple different criteria as well. So I can be really intentional with those particular prospects, those plans that I want to go after for whatever reason that may be. We also have the concept of views. So you can build multiple different views up and then be able to come to them straight away. So instead of having to repeat those 5, 6, 7-step process to filter those plans, I can save that and have that as a comeback and quickly access that as well and start to work on the prospecting as well. One feature that I know Lou loves in ForceManager, and that's one of the things we've always talked about as well, is a simple feature but very beneficial. I'm going to show you it now. So we're going to slowly bridge into some of the CRM functionality and efficiency and productivity aids that ForceManager will bring to you. For example, I've had this list, and my first step may be to reach out via phone call. So I can click onto the record, go into their particular record in the system. I've got their contact in the system, so Nelson here, for example, and I can actually go through and make a phone call straight from ForceManager. So imagine on my iPhone, is the best example, Android phone, make the call through, on my device, carry on, have the conversation. I hang up, and when I return back to ForceManager, this form appears in the system. So the system's prompting me to go ahead and add notes of that phone call I've just had, which is great. I want to record that touch point so I can come back to it at a later point. So very simply, it was a phone call. I can now add in my notes and from that phone call. Now, of course, on my iPad, it's nice and big, great big keyboard. I can use that through. But voice to text here is the trick, and this is the magic, and we'll see it again shortly as well. But microphone button here. Had a great conversation, wasn't able to speak very long due to another meeting, but asked me to call him back in 2 days' time. So again, annotating in, nice and straightforward, especially on a smaller device. Well, now that feature's great. For me, at this particular scenario, the best thing for me is being able to set that follow-up call as well. Follow-up, the reminder straight from the application here. So we see this task. I can set 2 days' time. I'm going to set that task to give them a call back. So maybe 2 o'clock on Thursday, I want to add that into the diary. So I remember that follow-up as well, which is important. So I can press done in there. So the beauty here is that I have logged my phone call with Nelson into the system. Great, I've logged that touch point into there. But more importantly, I've also got this reminder now in ForceManager. So come the 29th on Thursday, I'm going to get a pop-up in ForceManager. It's going to remind me to go through and give Nelson a call so I can follow up from the conversation we started as well. So I get a great productivity tool in there to make sure I don't miss any of those follow-up actions as well. So now, going to go into a couple of scenarios just to show the power of ForceManager as well and some additional features. First scenario is going through a face-to-face meeting. So we can all remember those days. Remember we used to meet people actually face-to-face? Hopefully we're coming back to more and more of that as everyone gets vaccinated, etc. So we will be back out there in the field, which I think we all definitely miss. So that next meeting is the most important thing to me. So in our dashboard, we've created what we call the magic card. So here on the left-hand side, we see traffic control and protection. My next meeting there, live real-time traffic, so 28 minutes to get there. 2 quick access menu options in here. Route option allows me then to navigate myself to that location. I've also got a contact icon. So within 3 taps of my iPhone or my Android phone, I can be calling Robert, say, hey, stuck in traffic, running late. Not reinventing the wheel, but quick access to that phone number when you need it, when you're out there in the field, not scrolling through an email, etc., trying to find that phone number. So then I arrive on site. This is my meeting now with Welding Material Sales. One would hope I've done some planning before I go into the meeting. But it's ForceManager can help here. Just realign yourself with that next upcoming meeting. I can jump straight into the record, have a look at their data, maybe run the Aristopedia report, etc. Then I can have a look at the activity feed. So this is the most important section for me. Here we try to create a whole 360-degree view of that interaction. My last visit with them, my last phone call. We can even sync with your email server. It's a feature that can be turned on or off as well. Beauty of that, it all happens in the background. No need to do anything differently than you do right now today. Email will sync in the background sort of automatically. So great, I'm up to speed. I can now go ahead and have my meeting. I finished my meeting. I'm now going to hit check in. I'm going to add the notes of my meeting. Now for me, this is probably in my top 5 features of ForceManager, being able to add my meeting notes straight after the meeting. So not sat back on the desk on a Friday afternoon trying to update all my client notes and meetings and prospect meetings I've had throughout the course of the week and sort of going, what did I do Monday? And sort of maybe forgetting some information or maybe missing some. You know, here I want to add it straight away, straight after the meeting, whilst I'm still sat in the car ready to drive off. Now, if we're going to do that, it needs to be quick and easy as well. So that's what we've done at ForceManager. Here, straight away, I come straight into the form. I'm in the car, I can add this in. Now, first thing, maybe I met someone new. I can add them into the system as well. I can hit add contact. I can add contact, which opens up the contact creation form, which allows me then to create the contact. I also have a scan card option. So if I've been given a business card, I can come here and I can then take a photo of it and it will then create the contact for me. Name, email address, phone number, all in there. Speed of input improved, and also the avoidance of spelling mistakes and typos through there as well. Next task, add the notes from the meeting. So as we saw just a minute ago from the phone call, voice to text is the power. It's the magic here, the secret sauce. Quick and easy. I can speak many more words than I can type per minute. So again, a great efficiency aid in here. Microphone button, wherever it is on your device. Great meeting. Need to send a proposal as quick as possible and set a follow-up meeting for Friday at 9 a.m. Straight into there, nice and straightforward. I can get 10 seconds worth of notes into there, have a good long list of it, and it's done as well. I haven't got to worry about doing it later on. It's all fresh in my mind. Get it straight in the system. Save that administrative burden time for be out there selling, reaching out to plan sponsors, etc. Press save. I can also upload an image if I wanted as well. A great example I had from one of our advisors we've been working with is that the prospect was sharing some sort of document with them. And before that advisor would have just taken some notes about it, etc. What they did was actually come and take a photo of it, obviously asked for permission, took a photo of it and uploaded it into ForceManager. And then they could come back and refer to it later on when they were doing some work regarding it as well. Of course, pipeline management in here is vital as well. So let's say this is our first meeting with this company, and do you know what? We've discovered there is an opportunity here. I want to add the opportunity into the system so I can then track my pipeline as I'm building that out as well. So I can create the opportunity here as well. Click on opportunity, click on new. I can then go through and create the opportunity. So I can add in here any sort of notes in here for a free text name, status. Here, just an example of it. You actually have the power to customize this and change this however you need, so it matches your own sales cycle as well. So customization is also a vital piece of the jigsaw puzzle here. You can mold the system to your own terminology, your own sales cycle in here. I can then set the probability scaler of how I think this is going to do, enter in the amount, so whatever maybe my revenue share of this is, forecast date, etc. when we hope to close it. So hey, let's say by end of June, and I've created the opportunity into the pipeline, nice and straightforward, very quickly as well, but effortlessly as well. Just add that link, that all into there. So the real magic here is that I've not only been able to add on my activity and do that, this would actually take me in real time 10, 20, 30 seconds, maybe max, to be able to add all those notes in the system and then move on to the next meeting I've got. So I can now press done. Fantastic, great to add it into the system. Now pop-ups just appeared. I'm just going to tap on that pop-up, and that pop-up said, did you want to create an event for the 30th? So why did that pop up? That popped up due to our artificial intelligence. So the AI has read my meeting notes, and I talked about a meeting on Friday at 9 a.m. So straight away, it's preset the meeting, 30th of April, 9 a.m. All that's left for me to do, go in, add in the subject, and add that into my calendar as well. So the beauty of the magic card, navigate, last minute preparation, have the meeting, log my meeting notes, and do my follow-up action all in one nice, easy-to-use interface. It's not cumbersome. It's very quick, very easy for you to do on the fly when you're out there in the field. In parallel with that as well is a feature where we've done that integration with Microsoft Teams and Zoom as well. So what does that give you? That gives you the option to sync both or either of those systems into ForceManager. Then you can create those meeting platform links from ForceManager. Then when it comes to having the meeting, it's like a rinse and repeat. It's exactly the same process as we saw from when I was there physically. So ForceManager from a CRM point of view is face-to-face, regardless if that's virtually or physically. So again, magic card, here's my meeting. I can jump in to the plan and have a look at the data, etc. And then when it comes to having the meeting, I just hit join meeting. It's going to take me through into Teams where I can then carry on and have the meeting. We can see me there. It's live, it's real, it's not fake. And then I can actually come back into ForceManager when I finish the meeting and actually add those notes from that video conference I've just had as well. We've also got a deeper integration coming in the next few weeks with Microsoft Teams. So if you're a Teams user internally, you'll have a much deeper integration with Teams as that comes out. But of course, we'll share that with you when it's actually launched out there. But a little sneak peek through there. So two other things quickly to show you before we get into the good piece, and we'll speak to James about his experience. So it's not just all propaganda from us. We can hear it from one of our users in the system as well. I've got my opportunities in my pipeline, so I can view all those opportunities that I'm actually working at any one point as well. And I can also view this at a pipeline level as well. So where my opportunities are at that particular stage of the system as well. So as we said, not just 5500 data resource, not just CRM, it's a mash of them both. So you get all the functionality into one particular system. Last thing to show you in here is our goals and KPIs. So for me, this was one feature that I loved when we developed it a few years ago. There's always been a bit of a disconnect between strategy and then managing the execution of that strategy. Now, of course, strategy is a massive piece, but part of that piece is the numbers. It's how many visits we should do, how many new opportunities do we need to create in order to forecast and facilitate those goals that we've set for ourselves. The beauty is now you can track them and automatically track them as well. So if I've got a goal for number of phone calls I make, for example, I want to make per week, per month, per day even, I can have that and the system will log it automatically. So every time I make a phone call from ForceManager, it will tick up the goal as well. And here from the prospects here, I can tip onto the goal and I can see those visits that I've made as well to equate to that particular percentage of achievement as well as we go through. So that's sort of like a summary of ForceManager and the functions and the features of it. Very, very quickly, like I said, it's a very simple process to go and purchase online. If you're interested right away from day one, you can go to our website and we'll send out information afterwards. And go ahead and purchase it. You can download it and it's there, ready for you within a matter of minutes. The system's there, live, ready for you to go. We also like to run some one-to-one sessions, with our customers as well, and go iron over any things that they've got, specific questions, etc., that they've got happening in there as well. So at that point, I'd like to thank you for your time in the demo section of it. Now I'm going to hand back to Maria, who's going to have a conversation with James, but also Lou and I will be there as well to answer any questions afterwards. So Maria, back to you.
Thanks, Luke. So, James, I guess the first question would naturally be, how did you find out about ForceManager?
Yeah, I have a good relationship with our preferred TPA, and I remember taking a phone call from him, and he said, "Hey, I checked out maybe a demo like this. I'm guessing there was probably a webinar." And he says, I looked at it from his side, being a TPA, they have to have super organized data with all the compliance. And he said, I think he knew I liked the prospect, and he called me up and said, you need to take a look at this. And I think, Luke, remind me, I think you and I did a demo, and within about 5 minutes, I saw the mobile and I saw what the data was. And I was sold pretty quick because I was working off of Excel spreadsheets from record keepers and giving me plan data. And I had them all saved on different desktop icons. But It didn't take me long. The price point is, I mean, I don't know why you would not want this information if you're going to be going after plans.
Thanks, James. I guess the next question would be like, what were you using to prospect before ForceManager? How was your process like before and after?
I mean, we all say referrals, right? But how many of us are referred to the top 100 businesses in your area every week? You know, maybe I'm not. So I think this is allowing us, you know, there's different ways to generate business, right? Referrals is one, but we don't want to wait for every referral to come in, so we can be proactive. Even with the referrals we get, they might not, this allows me to do research ahead of a meeting or ahead of a call or ahead of a referral or a cold call to know who I'm calling. And like Luke pointed out, you want to create some sense of doubt or urgency on that initial call so that you gain an opportunity, right? And I just like how the data is organized. Before ForceManager, I was working off Excel spreadsheet lists, to be quite honest. Our record keeper partners would send me lists from different market sizes or different zip codes that we do business in the most frequently. And all that was great, but it wasn't, there was a lot of data sorting within spreadsheets that, you know, it didn't have the capability to have the CRM features. All it was a cold call or a data list.
And that leads me to my last question, James. What top benefits do you see with ForceManager?
Yeah, well, the benefits are, you're going to figure out the benefit. To really figure out the benefits, I think you got to try the product. And you're going to figure out, there's a lot to the tech. And I'm not a tech guy. I'm a sales guy. I'm a business development guy. I'm a relationship guy. Tech is cool, but I don't get lost in the tech. You can with this product because there's so many features. But I use the filter. I use the custom filters of the market size that I want to work in. And I really just use it. We have another CRM that I have partners in the business, and we're running about 4 different revenue models all at one time. So when you could use this as a full stream CRM, but because we already have a model for our CRM book, I was just looking at it from a straight sales perspective. And Luke has helped me build some custom filters within the market that I want to prospect into, and then building those opportunities. Luke, you might be able to speak to this, but also recognizing what the revenue opportunities are and having more structured goals and outcomes of when to reach back out to people. But I found it helpful because I never thought of that really before. I mean, you get referred to a nice plan, but then actually having real revenue goals and numbers behind the opportunities, it kind of just makes it more, there's a little more skin in the game, and you get more excited when you recognize it's not just another client, but this is the revenue possibility of the opportunities that I have in my book right now. Why wouldn't I call these people? Because we all get a little phone reluctance from time to time. But when you see the revenue structured next to that call, why wouldn't I pick up the call? Why wouldn't I pick up the phone and call these people?
Yeah, you're right. And we had that conversation, James, through a couple of the calls we had about, structuring an opportunities module and having that revenue figure in there. So instantly it's that, as you can see it. And like you said, people have different ways to manage opportunities, a whiteboard in the office, sticky notes, etc. But I think sometimes when it's in a system, it's there straight away. You can see it, and it just makes you add to those calls, etc. You go, actually, this is going to be worth this. It's worth picking up the phone, as you mentioned through there as well. Mr. Richie, you just appeared. Do you want to come back up if you had anything else from your side you wanted to talk about?
Absolutely. I don't want to distract others while I'm on the call here. And so, yeah, I think a variety of things on the filtering side. You can explore plans like those that don't have a QDIA or those that aren't 404C compliant. And then you could also drill down because it has the audit data in there, and there's some great functionality there as well. And James, how many plans did you have on the books previously? I think you're growing your retirement practice, and that's, or better question, what do you have now, and what's your goal for the future? Because it sounds like retirement plan is really your focus on your practice these days.
Yeah, you know, I jumped into, I'm the youngest of a team of, you know, everybody's teaming up now in the advisor world. That's kind of the new thing. There's still some solo practices, or I call them silo practices, but everybody's trying to build these teams to work more efficiently together and also have succession planning within their client database, right? So I joined a team of guys with my broker dealer, and we didn't have a really robust 401k division. We had more healthcare clients, so we called them group clients, and then we had some COLI clients, which are, you know, corporate-owned life insurance, more deferred comp arrangements for some higher revenue companies in our marketplace. And we had a few plans within our partnership, but I just realized that we had a built-in referral network within our book already. And I like the retirement space. I see the market opportunity. And it kind of was just something after, you know, I didn't do it year one in the business. You know, I built up some other skill sets first, but I would say what we're looking at now is we're just trying to generate, you know, what we call, after we get a meeting, we call it a case open, right? That's kind of the verbiage that we use here. And we've had a real strong close ratio within our book in the last 18 months is when we really got aggressive growing this side of the business. And the board said, hey, we want you to focus on this area and build out our model. But it's really cases opened, you know, because you're not going to close every deal, and we have a couple delays. The larger plans, I see more delays because of COVID, because of, hey, we're just we don't want to make too many changes right now. We're overwhelmed. But having that database to know when to call them back, we're really focused on opening cases every month, every week. And I have a system in place that I got to be making the calls because they're not going to call us. And we need to be making the calls. And a lot of these plans, they have, I call them under the HR team, even with big plans, they don't know the moving parts of these plans. And they're very undereducated on, I don't just lead with cost. I don't say, hey, I want to find a cheaper product for you because I want to make a living too. But it's more leading with plan design and education and trying to find out if there's a weakness in a relationship.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of underserved plan sponsors out there. I think that's the key, is there are a lot of underserved plan sponsors. Even today, where you have very experienced retirement plan practices, you just can't get out to that many. And then once you have a book of 10, 15, 20 plans on the books, once you're at 20 plus, 30 plus plans, then you've got to service those accounts. And so there's two things I think about the tool that we've kind of had an aha moment on our end. Number one is, once you grow them, then you need to become systematic on your service model. And so on the service model side, we have several very experienced advisory teams that say we're not automating things on these plan sponsors. And then the second is, once you get busy with those plans, you're not prospecting anymore, so you're not growing your pipeline. And so the two things is, you're growing your pipeline, and then you're also able to automate it, being able to track the touches. That's another thing that we've heard from advisors, because there's a variety of statistics, anywhere between 7 and 15 touches before you actually close an account. So you can track those touches, and it may be 6 months or a year before you've really developed a relationship. Not only do you have outbound marketing and materials and consulting, but it may be taking the client out or getting to know the clients and that building that personal relationship. So those types of things, I think, I'm sure you've seen helpful. We've got some new innovations coming up down around the pike here. We've got a data scrub project going on with the Recipedia, where now, even though the 5500 doesn't include today the email addresses, we have an engineering project there. And then we also have a drill down project where we're looking at AI into the audit so that you could find plan features. For example, we have an audit scrubbing project where you can find out, do they have a self-directed brokerage account? Who's that brokerage account with? And there's all kinds of design features within the audit that we're able to bring to the table, and that's something new. So we got some innovation coming down the pike. Anything else, James or Luke, that you think we've maybe missed here? Because I've got one item. James, you mentioned there's a lot of technology here to the tool. When we're doing not just the demos, but the training with advisors, when we go through this, several advisors have said, this is a second or third call. They say, wow, I didn't know I could do that. And then you've got like document storage. You've got all these interesting features that, depending upon the advisor, there's other parts of the tool that use it. Some folks are full-blown CRM. They use it as their full-blown office CRM. Other folks are using it as a sales tool, 5,500 data. Some people like it just because on the fly. You could be, at a Starbucks and you're looking up a plan, a CPA calls you, you look it up, you have the information, and you get it instantaneously. I love the ease of use, and sound like I'm selling the product because I love the way it works. It's amazing. When you combine the cerebral data with the fast and the speed of technology with ForceManager and the Apple design, I think it's a win-win. So that's my takeaway. I use it all the time with our practice, and every day our pipeline. It used to be a partners meeting. Okay, what are we working on? How are we working? Now we have this list. I hit the plus button. I put a new lead in. If my partner calls me today at 3 o'clock, I could say, oh, here's 3 new opportunities we're working on. They came in, and here's the advisor. Here's the scenario. One's a defined benefit, and they're not happy with their current actuary, and they need a second opinion. Here's a 401k, and it's a 400 employee group, and they're just not happy with getting return phone calls. A lot of times in our world, it's service. Service is the big component. So anyway, back to you, Luke and James and Maria. That's my take on how the tool is helpful.
No, thank you very much, and James, thank you very much for joining us today. Appreciated, and I know that you're getting good benefit from the application, so it's always good to hear from someone else, not just a propaganda machine from ForceManager. We can actually hear from a paid up user of the benefits of it. So appreciate it. Thank you very much for your time. So, and again, everyone, thank you for your time in joining us. We'll reach out afterwards and share some more information and a copy of the recording and etc. of everyone. But thank you very much for your time. We'll be in touch, and you've got our contact information if you need us. But yeah, we'll be in touch soon. So thank you very much, and have a great rest of your day and the rest of the week. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everybody.
Cheers.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.